What's up, Jeezy? Oh my goodness. Jeezy party, this is it. And you are here for it, I can tell. Man, it is so good to see all of you. It is good to be back. My name is Mark, and I am your middle school teaching pastor. And hey, if you are new, if this is like your first night here, maybe you came with a friend who invited you, maybe your parents just dropped you off, maybe you just wandered in off the street. I want you to know that I am so glad that you're here. I think it matters that you're here, and I hope you love it. I hope you have a blast. Now, tonight, we are finishing up our series called Momentum, and we're talking about the last action on our momentum wheel here. This one right here, connect in community. And tonight is all about this big truth. We are better together. Everyone say that. We are better together. Some things are just better together, right? So we're gonna try something here. I'm gonna say a word, and then you're gonna shout out the thing that is better together with that word. All right, let's try this. You ready? Peanut butter and peanut butter and jelly. Macaroni and yeah, macaroni and cheese. Okay. How about this one? Cereal and cereal and milk. One more. Bacon and I actually heard the right answer. Bacon and everything. That was the right answer on that one. All right, here's the thing. All of these things are better together, and the same is true about us. We are better when we are together in relationships with other people. And this has been true since like the very beginning of time. So in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, we can read about how God made the world. And in that story, we learn about how God made the very first human being. Now his name is Adam. And Adam has it really good. He lives in a garden that God made for him. He had a special job where he got to name all of the animals that existed. That'd be pretty cool, right? He's like, elephant, rhinoceros. He took one look at this fish and he thought to himself, what will I call you? I got it. Spiny lumpsucker. That's the actual name of that fish. Now, don't go home and call your brother a spiny lumpsucker tonight, okay? I don't want you to get in trouble because of me. So he had this cool job. He had this garden that he lived in. In the garden, there was these rivers that flowed through the garden and these trees that grew up and grew all kinds of fruit. So basically, Adam had a lazy river and an all-you-can-eat buffet in the middle of paradise. Doesn't that sound good? Don't you guys want to go there? But there was one problem. There was one problem. He was all alone. There was nobody else to share that with. Look at what Genesis 2:18 says. Now this is cool. This is a quote of something that God himself said. And we have this written down in the Bible. I just think that's really cool. The Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone." See, even though he had all of that, he was missing something really important, and that was other people. He needed community, and without community, he was headed right towards loneliness. Now, if you've ever experienced loneliness, you're not alone. I wonder, have you ever thought, man, it's just hard to make friends? Have you ever thought, people just don't really understand me, or they don't really know the real me? Have you ever felt misunderstood? All of that can leave us feeling lonely. And like God says, that's not good for us because loneliness affects us. We can't live our best life if we're doing it alone. So what's the solution then to all of this loneliness? Well, I think that it is togetherness. It is being together with other people and staying connected in community. So tonight, let me give you 2 reasons why I believe that we are truly better together. And the first one is this. Someone is there to pick you up when you are down. Now, I've talked about this guy named Solomon before. He was a king. He was considered to be one of the smartest people ever to live. And so we can kind of trust his advice when we see it and read it. And Solomon says this, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Now the point here is it's pretty simple. Two people are better than one, especially because if one of them falls down, someone is there to pick them back up. And that is so true when it comes to life. So one summer during college, I had a job where I worked out in these crop fields. And one day, I was out at a cornfield taking some samples of the soil. So basically what I had to do was just walk through this cornfield, and every about 100 yards, I had to take a sample of the soil. And let me tell you something, it was hot outside, okay? It wasn't just hot, it was hot. Everybody say, hot. Yeah, it was hot outside. And the thing that you have to know about a cornfield is if it's like 100 degrees outside, it's like 150 degrees underneath the canopy of that corn because there's no air moving and it's just sticky, humid, and hot. And so I was walking through this cornfield, and you guys, full disclosure, I'm sweating. I'm sweating a lot, okay? I'm sweating in places that I didn't know that I could sweat, all right? I'm sorry, but let me just tell you. And there's sweat dripping in my eyes, and I can't see, but I'm just plowing through this cornfield trying to get all of these samples. And I get to my very last one. I can see the light through the corn. I'm almost out of it. And I realize that I dropped something. A piece of equipment that I needed to take these samples was somewhere in this cornfield. I had no idea where. I was exhausted. I was so tired, but I had to go back and try to find this thing. So I turned around and I started walking, and I just fell right on my face. Boom. I tripped on a corn stalk. I started to think that this cornfield was trying to murder me at this point. And I just crawled on my hands and knees, searching the ground, and finally I found it and turned around, and I crawled back out of that cornfield, and I got out of there. But it was terrible. Oh, I'm glad I survived. But you know what would have made that experience so much better? Another person, somebody else with me, somebody to take a look at me and say, yo, Mark, you're looking kind of dehydrated. You should probably stop and drink some water. Somebody to help me keep track of the stuff that I needed as I was walking through that field. Somebody to help me carry all of that dirt that I was collecting, and somebody to be there to pick me up when I had fallen down and all I could do was crawl. When we are in community with other people, someone is there to pick us up when we're down. And if you're facing a challenge in your life right now, I want you to know that you were not meant to go through that alone. That's why God gave us other people to come around us, to love on us, to encourage us, to give us advice when we need us, and to pick us up off the ground when we're down. So let me ask you, where do you feel like you're crawling right now? It could be in school. You've got another test coming up, another deadline. Homework just seems so overwhelming. You're like, I don't even know if I can do it. Maybe it's a relationship you just got broken up with and your heart is hurting. Maybe you're watching your parents go through a rough patch in their relationship. You're not sure what to do. Whatever those things are that we're facing, you don't have to go through them alone. Maybe that means that you need to tell somebody. You need to go to a friend who you trust and say, hey, this is what's going on in my life. Maybe that means that you need to open up in your small group. And you need to tell them about the things that are happening in your life. Because that's what they're there for. That's what community is all about, is sharing those struggles with each other and being there for each other. And then when we do that, that community, that group comes around us and picks us up when we are down. That's the first reason why we're better together. The second is this: someone is there to push you forward in your faith. Another verse that I love out of Hebrews is this. It says, let us consider, so let us think of how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds. Now, spur one another on is a phrase we probably don't say a lot. When was the last time you said that? Never? Okay, yeah. But here's what it means. Spur one another on just means to encourage each other. It means to push each other forward to be better. And we all need this kind of encouragement. I need this in my life. And really, that's come from a few people that mean a lot to me. Here's a picture of my friend. I laugh just looking at this picture. Eric, that's me in the middle, and that's John Taylor, White Bear Campus. You guys might know him. He's your campus pastor over there. He's a good buddy of mine. But man, friends really isn't a strong enough word because these guys are like my brothers. They are my community. And with Eric, it started back in middle school, like where you guys are right now. We were actually in small groups together in middle school at our church, which was super cool. And then in high school, we started meeting together weekly, not just to watch movies and eat pizza rolls, which we did a lot of, but to talk about life, to get real with each other, to keep each other accountable, to talk about the things that we are struggling with and what's hurting us. And man, Eric was there for me many times. One in particular when I went through a really bad breakup with a serious girlfriend, and I was down. He helped pick me up, and he constantly helped push me forward in my faith. And then after high school, we met John, and we started hanging out with him, and man, it was just, we have so much fun together. But not only do we laugh and have fun like you saw in that picture, we sit down and we get real together. And we did that for a period of time. We met and we talked about life. And this was in a time where I had gotten married and I was starting to have kids and that kind of stuff. And John really spoke a lot of wisdom into my life and challenged me in a lot of ways. And I can tell you confidently that I am a better person. I'm a better friend. I'm a better man. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father because of the community that I've had with these two guys. I'm so grateful that I had that and that I have it. So let me ask you, do you want to be better? Do you want to be a better friend? Do you want to be a better person? Do you want to be a better son, daughter, brother, sister, whatever it is? If you want to be better, then you need community around you. This is why we do small groups every single week at Ground Zero. It's why we think it's so important, because when we're together with other people, especially people who follow Jesus, then they can pick us up when we're down and they can push us forward in our faith. But look, I don't just want you to take my word for it, okay? So we sat down with some Rev students. Revolution is our senior high ministry, and I sat down with some students who are a little bit farther down the road than you guys, who have been a part of small groups, been a part of the community here at our church for a while now, and they shared some things about why they love their small groups and how it has made a big difference in their lives. So I want you guys to hear from them tonight. Check out this video. Take one. What is your favorite better together combo?
It'd probably be peanut butter and a burger, more protein.
Ew.
Probably mornings and coffee.
That's a good one.
Ketchup and mac and cheese.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Pickles and peanut butter. Yeah, it's like soft and crunchy.
I like brownies and ice cream.
That's a good. Yeah, you can't do that.
There's so many like different personalities in my small group that it like just brings out everybody's best. Super goofy and super weird, just super fun environment that you want to be in every week.
Going to like hear their highs and lows. Like I want to know what's going on in their life. Like I like to know what they're going through.
Some days in your small group, like everybody's just kind of having a rough day, but no matter what, we always have a moment in our small group where it's like, it's just a good moment, and like something really funny happens or really random.
We really have a good contrast between like being goofy and being serious. There have been times where like we go straight from like joking around, laughing, having a good time to like a super serious like conversation, and it never feels like forced.
How did community build within your small group?
Once one person opens up in small group, it just is like a ripple effect. And like it's happened every single day in small group. Like one of us says something and then the rest of us are like, yeah, like, we totally feel that way too.
I big time feel that. Like I like, it's the music and then the message and then like being able to talk about it and like say how I felt during that message to my small group is what like makes it feel more connected, because you can just connect it to your personal life. Beginning of senior year, my dad had a heart attack and my cat died. It was like a lot happening. I texted my small group and they were like here for me, and like things changed around big time.
What you need support around you, and you need that community around you. Like you said, you can't, let it all just pile on, because it's only going to get worse.
When you have like people to lean on, I guess, they kind of help take that weight off. Where if it was all by myself, I would probably be just like completely like sinking. But since I have these people, like even just talking it out with them always ends up making it easier and better.
Yeah.
When something big happens and like you tell someone about, or like when I tell them about it, I feel like they're like going through it with me and like giving me like, if they went through something similar, they like tell me how they handled it. So then I like take advice from them.
I admire a lot of the people in my small group because of how strong that all of their faith is. And so it makes me like strive to want that too. All of us struggle at some point too, and then knowing that it's not just you who's struggling, and then we can kind of like help push each other to a stronger
It's like you go through
relationship
it together.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't think I've ever felt more welcome to something. I know I was in a sad place, and Jared knows that. And when I went there, I just felt so relieved. And then I started going, and then I grew in my faith as much as I did, and committed my life to Christ. And that was, all because of my small group, and all because he invited me.
And you started inviting people.
Yeah.
And our small group has really grown.
In my Ground Zero small group that I lead, they like, a lot of them are dealing with the same things that like I did when I was at that age. So I think being able to like look back and help them the way I did.
I'm like getting choked up over here.
Like when you go through something, every single person in there's like, I'm praying for you. Like if you need a hug, I'm gonna hug you. Like stuff like that. So it's like
I'm coming towards you.
Exactly,
You have
yeah.
no question.
Hey guys, you hug, guys.
Yeah, we do group hugs.
do,
If someone's
yes.
down, it's just big goal.
That's my favorite.
Or like you can see them at school. Like you don't even have to be at church to have that. Like they'll know, and you can just like be like, I got you. I'm praying for you.
Yeah, so when you see them even outside of a Wednesday night, there's sort of this understanding that like, hey, we're in this no, like you don't even have to say
No,
it.
we know.
Like that's how close you guys are. Is you just look at each other and you're like, no, that's powerful. Like that's really cool. So you're doing it right now. Like, hey, thanks so much for taking this time. You did it. You feel it? You feel good? Do I need to do it again?
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. I think this might be stuck.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, let's make some noise for them. Come on. That was awesome. All right, here's the bottom line. Those Rev students are better together. They have experienced what happens when you get into good community, and community that is centered around Jesus. They have found support. They've found encouragement. They've been picked up when they're down. They've been pushed forward in their faith because of the community here at our church. And that's what I want for you guys. I know some of you are already experiencing that in your small groups, and I think it's so awesome. Keep going. Keep building that community. Others of you are like brand new to this, and this is gonna be the first time you go to a small group. I hope this helps you understand a little bit more about why we do it. Others of you have kind of been on the fence about your small group. You're like, I don't know, is it really worth it? I hope that video encouraged you and showed you that yes, it is so worth it, and we need that community. But as much as I want you to have community like they have, okay, I also want you to have a relationship with Jesus like they have. One of the things I think that's so cool is that every one of those students in that video has a personal relationship with Jesus. And I want that for you more than anything. And I wonder if there's some students here tonight, you've never made the decision to put your faith in Jesus and start a relationship with God, and you need to do that. That needs to be a starting point for you tonight. Community will happen, but you need to get in relationship with God tonight. And here's how you do that. It starts by admitting that there's sin in our lives, that we've made mistakes, that we've failed. All of us have. I have, your small group leaders have, every single person has. We just need to admit that. And then we need to believe that God loved us so much that he didn't leave us over here separated from him because of our sin, But we need to believe that he sent Jesus to die on a cross, to pay the penalty for our sins, so that when we put our faith in him, our relationship with God is made right. And then we need to commit to following him, to not doing life our own way, but saying, God, I'm gonna follow your way. I'm gonna live my life your way because I believe that's what's gonna be best for me. If you've never made the decision to put your faith in Jesus and start that relationship with God, tonight can be your night. No one else can do this for you. Your parents can't do this for you. Your friends can't do this. Your small group leaders can't do this. This is a decision that you get to make. So if you want to put your faith in Jesus tonight, if you want to start that relationship with God, to have community with him, you can pray this prayer with me. I'm going to lead you through a prayer, and really, there's nothing magical about this prayer, okay? But you do need to believe it in your heart as you say these things to God. So in a second, we're gonna pray, but then I want you to sit tight where you're at, okay? I've got a couple more things to say after this, and then your student pastors are gonna come out. So just stay where you're at. Let's pray together. God, I believe there are some students here tonight who need to start a relationship with you. And this is their moment. This is when they get right with you. This is where they experience a loving relationship with you for the first time. Students, if you want that, pray this with me. God, thank you so much for bringing me here tonight. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for wanting a relationship with me. I admit that I've messed up, that I've made mistakes, and that has separated me from you. But I believe that because you love me so much, you sent Jesus to die on the cross for my sin. I put my faith in Jesus right now. And God, I am going to commit right now to living life your way. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for saving me. Thank you that I have a brand new relationship with you. All right, you guys, I believe that if you prayed that prayer tonight, you have a new relationship with God, and that is a reason to celebrate. That is a reason to party. So will you guys just make some noise for anybody that did that tonight? Seriously. You guys, I prayed a prayer like that, similar to that, when I was 6 years old, and it was the best decision that I ever made. And I'm so excited for how God is gonna work in your life. All right, here's what I need you to do. If you prayed that prayer with me tonight, we would love to know that so we can be praying for you, so we can send you some things. So if you have a phone and you prayed with me tonight, would you take that out and text LIFE to 555-888. Text LIFE to 555-888. Again, we wanna be praying for you. We've got some things that we wanna send you, including this Follow Jesus booklet. All right. Again, I'm so proud of you guys. It's been so fun hanging out with you tonight. I'm so glad you were here. I love you. I will see you next week. Right now, I'm gonna hand it off to the student pastors. So stay where you're at. Stay where you're at. Student pastors are coming out.